It's match day. We take on Burnley later on today, and I am nervous. I've been sort of buzzing after the Newcastle win. Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, I was just buzzing. I didn't really think about the Burnley game. Well, I did, but I didn't really feel the emotion of the Burnley game due to that high I experienced after the Newcastle win. But as I got into sort of Wednesday, I got a little bit neutral. Thursday, the nerves were creeping in, but today I've woken up not quite feeling sick in the bottom of my stomach like I was last Sunday for some reason, but feeling nervous. The pressure's on West Ham a little bit. And it's been interesting reading the comments because I've labelled this one up as a must-win for West Ham, and I still do. I still stick with that opinion. But it's been interesting because a lot of subscribers have agreed and said, yep, this is a must-win. We have to win. And there's been some who said, no, not necessarily. Even if we only draw, we still might be okay. But what I'm seeing is a lot more positivity. So for those group of subscribers that are not describing it as a must-win, they're saying, no, we still might be all right even if we don't win. I didn't see that type of comment before the Newcastle game. That comment that was saying even if we don't win these games, we'll be okay. We might be okay. It was like if we lose, we are doomed. So I do feel like there's been a nice positive uplift off the back of that win against Newcastle United. And understandably so. We were good. We deserved to win, and we did win comfortably in the end against a decent Newcastle United team. They're not in great form at the minute. There's been a lot made of that, and their away form in particular, of course. But let's not pretend that Newcastle team, even if they're perhaps not firing right now, let's not pretend they're crap, shall we? They're still a good team. Won during the week in the Champions League as well, of course. Now, this is a show where I try and sort of guess what Nuno's going to do. Got a full house last week. That was pleasing. After 2 weeks of getting it completely wrong due to his experimenting against Brentford and sticking with it against Leeds United. And we're going to get the tactics board up and have a little quick chat as well. But before we do, I want to just address the elephant in the room, perhaps. A rumour went around on social media yesterday that we will not be wearing a poppy on our shirts today. Now, I didn't react to it, or because I didn't believe it. I seen it, and it looked official. It sounded like an email, a type of email someone from the club would send if that was the case. Now, there's rumours about the rumours going round as well. But the reason I didn't react or say anything is because I didn't believe it. I thought the club won't do that. The club wouldn't do that. I believe some clubs might do that, and certainly some footballers will not wear the poppy on their shirt this weekend. That will be their personal choice. But for the club to take a stance, I found it very difficult to believe. And there was a lot of indicators yesterday. So when the rumour came out, on the official website, there was already an article about how the under-12s of West Ham went to the Poppy Centre. We wore the poppy on our shirt when we played Leeds United because that was their home game before Remembrance Day. Last night, the under-21s, who had a great game, fantastic second half. Kante, that goal by Kante, unbelievable. With his weak foot, his left foot as well. You haven't seen it, go watch it. He cuts in from the right, just outside the box. And he's running, parallel to the goal line as well. So he's not running toward the goal. He's running parallel to the 18-yard box with his left foot. And it's an absolute rocket into the top corner. You just don't save those. A fantastic goal by him. But he played, as did the likes of Myers and Marshall and Earthy. So they won't be involved today. They might be. They could be. It would just be incredibly unusual for them to play for the under-21s, then the very next day be on the bench for the senior team. It's happened in the past, but it doesn't really happen anymore. Modern football, you tend not to do that with your players. I think some players would like to. If you said to Earthy, you're on the bench for the senior team, do you want to play in under-21s? I wouldn't be surprised if you said, yes, please. Can I play at least a half? He might say, no, thank you. Don't want to risk injury or anything. But I believe that if you're going to play in that game, you're not going to be involved today, which is maybe unsurprising, but hopefully it gives us an indication as to who's not injured for Nuno's team. We'll get there in a second. But the under-21s wore the poppy on the shirt last night. I know the club have got veterans going today to lay a wreath on the pitch. There was nothing really to indicate that email was true, but it did spark a big reaction on social media, and I completely understand why, if you believed it could be true, why people would be outraged. I completely get it. I will be honest, I try and stay away from anything political in regards to football. I try and stay away from it because I think when we do these videos, I think sometimes it's an escape from real life. So there's been other campaigns that the Premier League have done. I'm not going to say which ones, but we haven't covered any of them on Hammers Chat. We don't cover any of them because we try and stay away from them. Because I think if you do one, you've got to do them all. Otherwise, you're seen to prioritise certain political campaigns over others. But I will say this, if the club did not put the poppy on their shirt this weekend, I would have been very, very disappointed with them. I wouldn't have understood it, and I've been very, very disappointed. Because again, the club you can't pick and choose, I don't think. If you're going to do one, you've got to do them all. You're almost guaranteed to offend people if you decide not to do certain campaigns. But the poppy in particular, if you were to ask me which one I'd not like to see the club not do, it would be the poppy one. I would have been very disappointed. But I was always quite confident that wouldn't be the case. And certain people have spoken to the club and come out and said, no, everything's okay. I think the programme's got the poppy on the front of it today. So I'm quite confident the club, the players will be wearing the poppy on their shirt. There's a bit on the official website about it as well. So there's just, I don't know, too many clues. Even pre-rumour, there was too many things to suggest that we would be wearing the poppy. So I don't know if someone's just made this up and it's gone viral and they've been trying to wind people up and it's worked. I don't know. But the one thing that makes me confused, and this is the rumour of the rumour, is Tom Skinner, who was previously on The Apprentice and Strictly Come Dancing this year. I think the club had got in touch with him because people were tagging him saying, because he's obviously a big West Ham fan, and I think someone from the club got in touch with him and admitted it was an employee, but he shouldn't have sent that. So I don't know what the truth is in regards to why this rumour was doing the rounds, but I feel confident they will be wearing the poppy today, and I bloody hope they are as well. Anyway, hopefully, I've had a lot of comments on the channel since the rumour come out saying, why are you not speaking about it? First of all, the videos we did was before the rumour came out. Second of all, I just didn't believe it. So I didn't really feel the need to do a video saying, I don't believe the rumour. But I guess I do it with transfer rumours sometimes. So there you go. That's my thoughts on it. And I just hope that that is not the case. But I just don't believe the players won't be wearing poppy on the shirt. We'll find out later today. I'm sure the club will. The one thing that does make me confused and concerned is why the club just wouldn't put something out on social media. Like, they'll be aware of the rumour. Just put out a tweet. Just say, despite rumours going round, to confirm, we are doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this, and we're doing this, and we don't know where the rumours come from, and just calm it down. They could have nipped it in the bud immediately, and they didn't. So that's the only thing I find a little bit strange. But the club have been here before, where they just bury their head in the sand and pretend nothing's going on. They're sitting in a house engulfed in flames, acting as if everything's okay. Sometimes I think just be a little bit more alert, right? People will be contacting you. Just put out one tweet. Just put up a little article on the official website that says we've seen the rumours and we're addressing them. They're not true. That's it. That's all you have to do. Anyway, we'll find out. I might end up looking really stupid, and like I said, if I'm wrong, I'll be very, very disappointed in the club, but that's my take on it. Right, shall we load up the tactics board? This will hopefully be nice and quick today, because this is the starting 11 we've begun with against Newcastle United. I thought it was very good. I thought even, if you take the worst performers out of the starting 11, I still think they played okay. I think Somerville had a quiet game in comparison to those around him. I thought Juve struggled defensively early on in the match. I thought Kilman was at fault for their goal, but I thought he was faultless after getting spun by Yolentin for the shot that Ariel chipped around his foot. I thought he was faultless. I thought he was excellent in the second half against Newcastle. He had his best game in a West Ham shirt against Newcastle. I think Potts was fantastic. The midfield three was absolutely brilliant as a trio. I thought Bowen had one of his best games this season. Other games he's played worse in and got a goal and an assist. I thought actually against Newcastle, he was picking up really good positions in between the lines, sometimes without wide, sometimes he came inside a little bit and picked up great positions. I liked what I see. I thought Wilson had a really good game and impact. So I'm hoping it's the same again. I am hoping this is what we do today. And I'm actually quite confident that if all players are fit and well, he will just go with the same 11, because it would be stupid not to. But also, he kept speaking before the Newcastle game in his pre-match press conference. He spoke about how he likes routine. He needs something to click. Well, it clicked, right? So now it's up to him to put the routine in place. Maybe he'll analyse it and think, actually, defensively, you just weren't good enough, so I'm going to take you out and put Walker Peters in. Maybe he might try and tweak it somewhere. But I actually think you could almost... The performance against Newcastle was almost perfect. Was it perfect? No, but I don't think you can get that. Like, if you were to try and change Diouf, for example, you might impact Todibo. Maybe part of the reason Todibo played well is because he had Diouf next to him and they had that, communication. I don't know. But I just worry that sometimes you've got to accept this is as good as it's going to get. Certainly off the back of a poor run that we were on. So these players will be feeling confident now that we've got a bit of momentum. Stick with what you've done, because I think it could transfer into this game as well. I don't think whilst we looked good on the counter-attack against Newcastle, some of the football in the first half, I thought was up against like a mid-block Newcastle, and we were fantastic. I thought we were moving the ball really well. I thought these two were trying to get in behind Newcastle's midfield and join up with Somerville, Bowen and Wilson, because they were able to trust Freddie Potts to pick the ball up and give it to them. So don't change it. Now, obviously in the press conference for this game, Nuno said there was a few bumps and that he was having to evaluate a couple of players yesterday. A rumour going around that one of those players is indeed Callum Wilson. However, there's two things that make me think that's not the case. One, I'm pretty sure in training footage I can see him, right? He's behind someone, so I think he's there. And the other thing is, in the pre-match press conference, Nuno was speaking about Wilson in a positive way and basically saying he's going to be involved. So either he's proper blagging it and Wilson's out, but he's making on that he's not one of the players injured when he actually is, or he's just telling the truth. I have a feeling that I've just got a feeling no one's injured. I've just got a feeling he was just, throw the cat amongst the pigeons. Because if he sat there and said, oh, everyone's fit and available, Scott Parker would probably go, well, you're probably just going to do that again, aren't you? And Scott Parker will prepare for this, and he probably still will. But at least if you make on there's a couple of players injured, you might just make a seed of doubt in terms of Burnley's preparation for this game. However, if he was out, Wilson, hypothetically, and he was fit, he's here somewhere, I'd put Fulkrug straight in. And the reason being is because I think we benefited from Wilson a lot against Newcastle, and I think a large part of that is because he's just a natural striker. I thought his movement was really good. I think his hold-up play was good. I like the way that even on the edge of the box, like I keep talking about that shot Somerville had from around this area. If you watch it back, Wilson's occupying the centre-back. He's backing into them. He's creating that yard of space for Somerville to hit the ball into so that he's got a clear shot at goal. I think only strikers really tend to do that. I think if you put a sort of false nine there, they don't tend to do that physical battle because it's not their natural game. Their natural game is to step off the centre-back and try and get the rebound or something, or link-up play. So I think I want to keep that natural number 9 if possible, and it would be risky with Fulkrug. I don't even know if he's fit, but his agent certainly makes on he's fit. And I hope he is, because if he's not fit, and say Wilson is, I would have wanted to see Marshall on the bench, because I think, again, I want that natural striker on the bench. I understand Souček came on against Newcastle and got his goal, but he came on when we were winning 2-1. You have to make sure you've got solutions on the bench so that if you're a goal down or it's 0-0 with 20 minutes to go and Wilson's knackered, who are you bringing on to put up front? Well, it might work with Souček again, but I'm not sure that this is, Arsenal's version of Mourinho. I don't think that's what we've got here. I'd want to get a striker on there, even if it is Callum Marshall, who's scored a nice goal, not as good as Kante's, but a nice goal for the under-21s last night. If anyone was injured, it's a blow. because I don't want any of the attacking six to be injured. I can't believe I'm saying this, but because of how good the centre-backs were against Newcastle, I hope they're both fit as well. So weirdly, if anyone was injured, I hope it's one of the fullbacks, because I trust Walker-Peters. I think he's closest to who he'd be replacing compared to the rest of the team. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Magassa so far, but I think there would be a drop-off from Potts and Magassa. If Fernandes was injured, what's he going to do? Souček or Irving? The drop-off's quite significant. But if Wan-Bissaka was injured, it's still a drop-off, but I don't think it's as drastic. I think you can continue with how you played against Newcastle with Walker-Peters there. I don't think you got changed too much. So fingers crossed everyone's fitting well. And if they are, I think we'll just stick with what we did against Newcastle. I think this would be Nuno's easiest starting 11 so far this season. Arguably, he should have had them already. He just made it more complicated against Brentford and Leeds. And I still struggle to get over those two games. I'm still not there. I think I've got over one of them because we beat Newcastle. It feels like it made up for the Brentford game. And I don't think the Burnley win, if we win today, I don't think it makes up for that defeat against Leeds. It's winning the game we're expected to win. But it's important. It'll be our third win of the season after 11 games. And here's the thing, I had a little look to see where we were after 11 games last season. Now, we obviously stayed up comfortably, but a large part of that was due to the 3 promoted teams being poor. But we were on, if we win today, we'll go on 10 points. We were on 12 points last season, so we'd only be 2 points behind where we were. But if I remember correctly, we did have an excellent December under Lopetegui. Picked up wins against Wolves, drew against Bournemouth. So we did pick up some good points in the month of December. So there is a little bit of pressure on us post-international break. How much pressure depends on the outcome today. I still think this is a must-win. A massive game for West Ham. A big game for those protesting today as well. Gonzo's away to the march and the protest, as are many of my friends. I am not, for reasons I've discussed before. I'm not going to repeat in this video. Most of you will understand. That's good. Those who don't want to understand or don't care enough, and that's also okay. But for those going, enjoy it. Hope there's a brilliant turnout for it. I'm confident there will be. Hope the football's brilliant as well. I hope we get a win. But if you're not going to the game, I'll be live at 1:55 on YouTube today with the build-up show and the watch-along. I'm just on my own because obviously Gonzo's not here. So if you are kicking around, please do come keep me company. I can't even call on Frankie. He's also going to the game too, which is good for them. I'm pleased they're going. It just means I'm going solo. So your company in the live chat would be much appreciated. But thank you very much for joining me. Any comments you've got, get involved in the comments below. And I will hopefully see some of you at 1:55. But you're going to the game. Hopefully I'll see you in the review where we're all celebrating 3 points. And a big 3 points for West Ham in what is, in my opinion, a must-win game.